Yes, and good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us for this morning's webinar. We'll be covering the integration between ConcreteGo Cloud Dispatch and StonemontQC. So before we get started, we'll be going through just a few slides, and we will also be showing a technical demonstration of the workflow quickly after. So just some very quick housekeeping items. So again, thank you for joining us, obviously, and taking the time for the webinar today. We ask that you use the speakers on the computer, and obviously with the webinar link, you should be able to see the video portion already. So some of the items that we'll be going over this morning is obviously we'll be looking to see how customer experience could be improved. We'll be talking about the ability to do online ordering, online concrete ordering using the online app. We'll be also looking at how we can access production, job, driver performance easily, quickly using the cloud. We'll talk about the value of integrating StonemontQC and ConcreteGo Cloud Dispatch. We'll look at how to improve profitability using real-time access to data, batch and QC, and adjusting and updating mix designs across all the plants with just a few clicks, and how we could save time and resources doing it in one central place, as well as analyzing batch results, obviously quality performance, and also creating submittals. So these are just some items that we want to go through, and hopefully these will be some of the takeaways for this morning's webinar. So before we get into it, just a real quick introduction in terms of who we are and what we do. So Sysdyne, we're actually based out of Stamford in Connecticut, and we've been around for over 40 years. We specialize in cloud technology, helping customers take full advantage of the latest in technology to help, of course, grow their business, become more efficient, more profitable. We see how we can basically bring value by making information more easily accessible for people to make decisions. At the end of the day, technology needs to work for us. And for technology to work for us, we need to be able to harness all the data that we spend so much time and money gathering to be able to make decisions so that we could run our business more profitably. And of course, being a software design company, we're always looking at how we could improve. And so we have heavy investments in R&D and our programmers to make sure that we're coming up with the features and functionalities that not only we think are going to be of value, but more importantly, what our customers think, our reduced customers think are of value. So this is why we do these webinars. We have a few poll questions for you as well to make sure that we have our finger on the pulse of the industry and that we're listening to you. So just to start off, in terms of being a we talk about cloud and being a software provider, what does that really mean? Well, for us, we are a SaaS, a software as a service provider. So what does all that mean? Well, basically, if you look at this, it's the ability to track and manage orders, schedules, assets, plants, trucks, be able to access different types of KPI dashboards. We're going to talk about QC data and even creating submittals. And the ability to do all this, whether you're at the job site, you're at the plant, or in between in transit. So using software as a service and accessing it through the cloud, it gives you the ability to be anywhere and access information anytime. Of course, that brings significant value to the way that you run your operations. So of course, we do all this using the cloud. Now, of course, what is the cloud? In the simplest of terms, of course, it's the ability to store and access all your information and the programs that you use, the software, over the internet, instead of on a computer hard drive or using a stack of servers in a room somewhere in the back. So the huge benefit, of course, is the accessibility. And that is, all you need is a internet-enabled device, whether it be a PC, tablet, or phone, to be able to access your information. Now, there's a whole slew of benefits in terms of using cloud, from total cost of ownership, the no maintenance. In other words, when it's a SaaS, when it's on the cloud, we're able to our customers access programs and all the updates without worrying about updating the information themselves or doing backups or any of these other tasks that normally not only take time but also causes downtime, which of course is lost revenue. So we're looking at how we can help save IT costs. So all those costs that are involved with either installing and managing servers or networks or even the software. And so accessibility, as I mentioned, is obviously a huge benefit to be able to access the information to take important decisions. Eventually, that's what it really comes down to, be able to leverage data to make better decisions. There's also the aspect of security that comes up a lot. So the cloud, of course, using the partners like AWS, the data is not only backed up, but it's securely protected. So it minimizes any type of downtime, and more importantly, any type of loss of productivity. And there's also the aspect that we don't really talk about, and at least enough, I feel, and that is the scalability or elasticity of using cloud. And that is to be able to scale up or down operations. And it could be because of economic conditions or even seasonal changes. So this allows you, traditionally you have a fixed cost, but by using the cloud and software as a service, you're actually able to scale up and down your operations and the need to use the cloud based on your conditions. So that gives you more flexibility. So what are some of the added value services that we can add? Well, this is what we'll be going over today. So one, of course, is how can we leverage technology today to maybe not necessarily in a la carte, but obviously to be able to allow clients to maybe put online orders in. So we'll look and show you how to do a very easy 5-step process of putting in an order request online, how it's sent to dispatch, how dispatchers can either accept or reject the request, and if it is accepted, how the request is turned into an actual order. So again, this is one of the benefits of using some of this latest technology that's of course being used in other industries. Of course, ready-mix industry, we could be taking advantage of all this as well. We'll be talking about how we can access production, job, and driver performance using the cloud again, using any type of mobile device. So we could look at KPI dashboards. We could be tracking delivery times, truck demand, driver behavior, idle time, there's a slew of KPIs that are critical to running our day-to-day operations. And the idea here is that we're able to do all that by simply accessing the cloud, and we have our finger on the pulse of how the data is coming along. And more importantly, if we have to make any type of adjustments, we can do that in real time. So again, making better decisions based on the latest and most up-to-date information possible. So in terms of bringing in, ConcreteGo and StonemontQC, the integration piece, some of the drivers, of course, was to see how we could save time by allowing customers to adjust and update mixes in one place for all the plants. The ability to analyze batch results to improve the quality performance. So look at the actual versus the theoreticals. To import customer project type information to build submittals, which is essential to our day-to-day activity as well. And streamline the processes between dispatch and QC to not only improve quality, but to see how we can also become more efficient. And the last piece, of course, is to access real-time batch production and QC data. Of course, how all that affects the bottom line. So again, relying on the raw data that we're able to collect from our dispatch and from our QC, and to look at things like plant performance, job performance, mix and material performance, and of course, be able to create either a dashboard view or reports to ensure that we are indeed running as lean as we can and as profitably as we can. So at this point, before we go into the technical side, just a few words from our guest this morning, Stonemont Solutions. I have Michael Rodriguez, who's on with us. And so Michael, if you will, I'll turn the reins over to you so you can introduce yourself. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having us here and inviting us to do this joint seminar with you. Again, my name is Michael Rodriguez. I've been in the industry for 25 plus years and been with Stonemont since 2012. Go ahead and go to the next slide there. All right. So we're located in Colorado. We specialize in quality control software for construction materials. We pride ourselves on customer service. That's really what we do and what we really enjoy doing with just quality control software. All right, so we're going to evaluate today. We're going to just demonstrate how easy it is to retrieve information from ConcreteGo, to evaluate those results, and then make changes based on those evaluations. I'm also going to touch a little bit on cylinder management, since we're going to use the sample that we're going to obtain to create cylinders. And we'll also talk a little bit about concrete submittals and the integration we have there as well.
Excellent. Well, thank you once again, Michael, for joining us. And what I'd like to do is, before we move in, and I'll give the reins now to my colleague, Henry Lee, I'll just ask two poll questions. Bear with me, and then we'll move into the technical side. So these poll questions will be gathering the information, and we'll be sharing the results back to all the attendees afterwards when we do our follow-ups, emails, and thanking you obviously for joining us. So I'll start off with the first one, which you'll see coming across your screen right about now. So I'll give everyone about a minute. So go ahead, take your time, read through it. And again, your input is invaluable. So we appreciate you participating. Okay, very well. So I'll be closing up that one, and I will be opening one more, and then we'll get right into the technical workflow. So again, take your time, and we appreciate the feedback. Okay, excellent. So we see that we got most of our folks have voted and put in, and I'll lock this down. And so what I'll do right now is I'm going to be introducing my colleague, Henry Lee. He's Director of Sales and Business Development for Sysdyne, and he'll be able to bring us through the first part of the workflow, which of course is on the dispatch side. So I'll just go ahead. And so Henry, just let me know that everything is good with the handoff. And excellent, I can see your screen. So whenever you're ready, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Jerry. Good morning, guys. What you guys looking at the screen is our iStrada collaboration platform. where you as a producer can invite your customers and allows them to look at and track their job, and also allows them to place online order entry. So I'm going to show you the first step of the process is how to do an order request. So we go to the resource and click on the orders. And on this screen, that whether you can either access via the tablet or you can access via a computer anywhere you are, just with internet access, or through the iStrada app that you can download on the phone. From here, you can do click on the plus for the order request. It will open up a screen where you as a customer is going to allow you to choose what project you would like to place an order for. So I just go ahead and click on the project, click OK. Then it's going to ask you to enter the delivery address where that project is. So, so I key 123 Main Street, Stamford, Connecticut. Then automatically it's going to open up the map and show that location. So at this moment, you can either move that pin or you can accept where that location is and you hit continue. Then it's going to take you to the next screen where it's going to ask you what mix designs would you like to place for that job. So once you hit the first keys, it's going to open up the mix that is allowed for that project. You key enter. Then you need to enter the quantity that you would like to schedule, any extra products or additional notes that you would like to enter. So we click on continue. Then it's going to ask you for what date you would like to place the order for, and also at what time, and what is the spacing. Let's say, for example, we're going to key in for the 22nd. We want it to be the 12 o'clock noon, and we want a spacing of 20 minutes, and we want a load size of 10 minutes. We'll hit continue, and it will bring the information from the customer database of who's the main contact person, any email that you would like to, that is already registered for that project, and the telephone number. The reasons we pull those information in is because we can send notifications via SMS or email address about that job, what is that job, the status of the job, when the job is scheduled, and whenever we send out delivery tickets for that job, that person is going to be notified. So we hit continue, and the next screen is to make sure that you verify that all the information you just entered are correct. And if this is the status of the job, whether it's firmed, will call, or weather permitting. So we're going to hit firm, then we're going to hit submit. Then once that job is submitted, you can see on the screen that there's a schedule request for the 22nd of October, and the delivery address, item code, the producer, and the customers, and the status. The status right now, it says requested. So this information will now flow to ConcreteGo, our cloud dispatch. Now I'm going to flip to the ConcreteGo dispatch screen. So ConcreteGo dispatch screen is a cloud-based dispatch solution. So you can, via the URL, it's going to take you to the main login screen. You can use your username and password. You click on logins. It's going to open the main screen. And then we can go into the dispatch screen to show you where that order request came in. So right now we'll see the main dispatch screen where it shows you all the orders that are scheduled for today per plant, and all the orders to load on the lower left-hand corners, and all the trucks in yard. So when we look at the upper right-hand corner, where it says the number 45, that is all the order requests that has been coming in through the iStrada platform. So when we click on that screen, it's going to open up all the orders that has been coming in, and also the job, what time they want to be on the job. So we can review all the order informations. And in order to accept or an order request, all you have to do is click on the informations. It's going to open up all the information that about the order request, and then you can either accept or reject. So when you click on the new orders, what this is going to do is going to transfer the order into the main dispatch as a confirmed order. So once the order is confirmed, then it will show up on the plant that the order request came in from. So right now, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to show you a full loop demo about how we send a truck to the plant to be loaded, and how the information will flow back from the plant back to the dispatch and back to the QC Stomount. So we're going to dispatch a truck 1971 out of plant 1 to Henry Construction. That is order 100. So once we click on that, drop that truck onto the orders, it's going to open up a screen. It's going to show you all the informations about that ticket. So you can review before that ticket is sent to plant for production. So you review, we're going to send item 030-2, a 3000 PSI mix, a 5-yard quantity. So when we hit print, it means that ticket will be sending to the plant to be loaded. So now I'm going to open up our Pioneer batching system. So you can see on this screen that the ticket I just dispatched now is showing up on the batching screen at the plant. It will have all the order informations about that ticket. It asks you to that we need a 5 cubic yards assigned to truck 1971, sold to Henry Lee Constructions, and we're going to ship to the delivery address. So what the plant operator will do at this moment is to highlight that ticket and click on batch. It's got opened up the batching screen. That will allow the batch plant operator to do a final review before he starts the batching process. And then on the lower right-hand corner, you can also see what is the mix designs that is for 030-2 before you start the batch. So we're going to hit demo. So now we're starting the batching process. You can see that we're loading up the aggregate, we're loading up the cement, and now the admixture is already completed. So while we go through the batching process, I'm going to go also switch to the mix screen, which is the mix designs. All these mixes can be downloaded from the dispatch. So you have central controls of the mix designs that's coming from the dispatch to the batching system. So you don't have to duplicate of manual entries of data into the batching system. We can also send the revised mix designs with every ticket. So if the mix has been modified for a specific job for the orders for that day, when we send the ticket from the dispatch to the batching system, we'll also send the latest version of that mix to the batch plant. So once the weighing up complete, we're going to go through the discharge process. So now we can see that the material is loading up the truck. So at this moment, we're going to go back to the ConcreteGo dispatch to show you that ticket, and also to show you some of the features that within the batching system where we keep all the mix informations. So right now we're back to the ConcreteGo cloud dispatch. I'm going to open up the items menu. The items is where all the mix products are located. So right here we see all the mixes stored within the ConcreteGo. So we're going to open up the 030-2 mix. We can see from here what plant are available for that mix designs. We can go and click on the mix designs. We can see what is that mix about. We can see all the ingredients and we can see all the quantities. We can see for what plant is available. And we can see that each of the plant may have different mixes because of the availability of the items that is the material that is available at the site. We can download all the mixes into the batching systems, or we can send the mixes with every ticket. So we're going to save that and close it. These mixes, it is connected, once connected to StonemontQC via the API, the mixes can be also transferred from the StonemontQC onto the ConcreteGo dispatch. So these mixes can be managed, optimized, or centrally optimized by the StonemontQC and then updated via the ConcreteGo API. So now I think our load is complete. We're going to go back to the dispatch screen, to the truck tracking screen. We can go look at that ticket, truck 1971. We can actually look at the batch result that we just batched at this moment. We can see the actual, the target, and the actual. So you can see how quick you will have the batching information back from the plant back to the ConcreteGo dispatch. So once the batch is completed at the plant, it will update the ConcreteGo dispatch. The same information will also flow from the ConcreteGo onto the iStrada drivers app, where the driver will have all the ticket information that is available if you have the iStrada GPS. I'm right now showing the iStrada app that is loaded on the drivers. So this is the device that is located in the truck cabin, where the information that we just ticketed and batched, you can see that is already updated on the driver's app with all the design, the ticket information, the design, the target, and actual. So you can see how quick that information flows between the dispatch to the batching system to the iStrada delivery, concrete delivery platform. And that information is also available if you enable your customers to view those information. Those information will be available to your customer also. So right now, I'm going to switch over to Michael Stonemont, for he will talk about the integration piece, or how the informations are pushed from the ConcreteGo platforms into the StonemontQC.
All righty there. I'll just wait to be able to have that switched. All right, so hopefully everyone can see my screen okay. I'm showing the right one. All right, so good. So in this circumstance, the technician's out on the job site, and they're testing that concrete, and they're given that ticket number that has come in. So we'll go ahead and put that ticket number into Stomont here. And so they've gone out there, they've done their testing, and so we just simply need to load this into Stomont. Once I do that, this is going to grab the product, the mix, sampled by sample type can be automated to be at default. And so you see in this case, we've brought in all of that information over from ConcreteGo into Stonemont. So not only did we set up this sample in Stonemont, but we also brought in batch results, which we'll review here in a moment. but I'm going to go through the whole process of the testing. So the very first thing I'm going to do once the sample has been generated is I'm going to go to cylinders and cubes so that I can go ahead and get that initialized. Now I have the software set up in such a way that it's automatically putting in a single 3-day cylinder for that and creating a cylinder ID 7-day and then 3/28. Those are all user definable defaults so that you guys can have this set up. So literally I just have to go in here to initialize the cylinders. That's it. They're already initialized. Next, I'm going to go into batch results so that I can review it. So in Stonemont, we're taking those batch results, basically the design and the required and what was actually batched, and we're evaluating that here, right, in this system. We can take this a step further even and evaluate it against batch results if we have those specifications set up. In this case, I don't, but next I'm probably going to enter my plastic properties into this system. So I can do that directly from the batching tool here that we're evaluating with. So in this case, I'm going to put in some parameters that we tested out on the job site. All right, everything looks pretty good, but I have a really low air content on my final testing. So, you know, that's got me concerned. So what I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and save and close this out. But I want to evaluate that. Well, in Stonemont, you can evaluate that directly from the sample. I don't have to go do a statistical analysis or use any of the evaluation tools, although I can. But I can simply go to the analysis tab that we have on the ribbon, and I can use the click tools to see how the results from this sample compare to previous samples. So I'm going to go ahead and select run chart on that, and there's my air temperature, but I really want to see air content. So you'll see in this case, you know, from my previous testing that I've done, my air has been consistently dropping. And of course, this one right here is below acceptable. I need at least 4.5 on this particular job site. I'm at 4.2. But this has been trending downward for a while, and I finally have one that's out of spec. So it's really time to make a change. And so I've made that evaluation directly from here, which helps quite a bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a change to the mix design based on these results. Now, from what Henry had said, since we're batching mix with ticket, as soon as I make those changes and send them to ConcreteGo, those changes will go down with the next order. So that can be pretty fast and effective. Let me go ahead and close out of this real quick. I've already done everything to generate this sample, so I'm good with this. Before we wander too far out of there, though, I want to talk a little bit about managing those cylinders. So you saw how easy it was for me to set up those cylinders to be ready to be tested. So now I can go into the concrete break grid, and I can set Stonemont up. Right now, the date options is today, and hit schedule, and it will tell me everything that's scheduled to be broke for today, right here on this form. But it's not just for show and tell. I can also put in my cylinder diameters if I wanted to on something like this. And if I'm measuring my cylinders or weighing my cylinders, I can put in those mass, potentially a mass in water, and also calculate unit weight. I can also just as easily type in a unit weight. But in this case, I've got maybe 45, 670. So I've got about that as a max load. Simply hit save, and Stonemont will calculate that strength, and then that will actually save on the mix report right here. It's already in there. So it's that easy to do data entry in Stonemont when it comes to cylinders. If I wanted to see everything that needed to be broke that week, that's pretty simple. Select current week, and there they all are. There's my cylinders for the week. So just a little bit about cylinder management there for you guys. We also integrate with several different brake machines. So anything from ones that will allow us to export the cylinder IDs into the brake machine, and to ones that we can just import those test results from those scale heads as well. Just depends on what system you guys have, but we do integrate with several. All right. So let's go down here a little bit, and I'm going to make some changes to that mix. So this is where I manage my mix designs in Stonemont for ConcreteGo here. So I'm just going to simply go to that mix design that we had just batched. And I'm going to take a look at how things are set up. So in this case, I had the error is at 1 ounce per yard, and it was pretty darn low. So I know I need to go up to about 1.2 ounces per yard. And it's pretty simple. I can just go in here to properties on this component and change that to 1.2. I've got several different ways to export it. I'm going to show you probably the fastest here. I've made the change. I simply select export. And now I'm actually sending this out to that system. And so we can make those changes. And so the next time that we ticket that, it'll ticket with those latest changes, which is going to be key to managing this stuff and doing this very quickly. So you can see here, it will give you confirmation that it did make those changes. Now I just changed air. I can also go through and change the entire mix design if I wanted to as well, if I'm given that level of permissions within the software. But this is just a single change. I can take this a step further. And let's say these are all air and train mixes, and I need to increase the air. Basically, I've been testing it, and all of those results are pretty low. So what I'm going to do is select all the mix designs here, and I'll go to Add Mixture Modifier, and I'm going to go ahead and change the air. And I know in general I need to go up about 20% on that. So there's various ways to do this, but I'm literally going to do it by percent. So I've selected all those mixes. I can hit OK, and now all of those mixes will be changed. So they will all be an increase. You can see there's a couple that didn't have the air in it. So we've made those changes into that mix. Once I've done all of that, I can simply select export to all of those mix designs. I have one more chance to review here, and then I will select export, and all of those will be updated all at one time. Now, we recommend that you make these types of changes at the end of the day. I mean, a global change like this would be something that you'll want to make off hours, especially if it's quite a few mixes. And you don't, especially if you're changing water reducer from 3 to 4 ounces per hundredweight globally, you don't want to do that in the middle of a pour, of course. So use the tool intelligently, but it would allow you to make those types of mass changes very, very quickly and easily. All right, so I did make those changes. I'm going to go ahead and show a little bit about concrete submittals in Stonemont and how we basically can pull that information in from ConcreteGo. So initially, I can come in here to our concrete setup and just simply import a customer from batch. Select it, do a search for that particular customer, and go ahead and select that customer and bring them into the system. Once I've done that and imported in their jobs for that system, then I can do a submittal on that. Now I'm going to go ahead and skip here to a submittal that's already been set up. And there it is. So searching for and getting to submittals is quite easy. We've had customers using this for years now and literally have thousands upon thousands of records, and they can get to those submittals quite quickly and quite effectively. So here I am on this submittal. I've already brought in my mix designs right here. I just simply do that with the search tool. I can go ahead and search, grab whatever mixes I want, and bring those mixes into the submittal itself. Once they're in there, I get to choose what the use is going to be. They will come in with defaults. They'll also come in with defaults for slump and air and water cement ratio, but all of this can be changed and is user definable. And then we have lots of options as far as what can be attached to our submittals, as you can see here, as well as a lot of different ways to have that mix report look. So these are all different options for what will show up on a mix report. Have those same type of capability here in strength evaluation. So you can really customize what is going to come out and be part of that customer submittal. You can also customize cover pages and bring in information in from the submittal, so it's always dynamically changing. Summary page header and footer, and this is a lot, right? There's a lot that you can do, a lot of flexibility. Well, you just simply save that flexibility out, give it a name, and then that becomes a mix template or a submittal template. And those submittal templates allow you to choose it very quickly. It'll choose all those check boxes for you, set up the cover pages for you, even bring in submittal notes for you, all based on those templates. So it makes actually managing this quite easy. And keep in mind that all of this customization is available for the customer. They can modify this to their heart's content and make it the way that they want to submit their mixes. From here, once I've done all of that work, I just simply go to Output, I'll select print preview, and then it's going to grab the certification files for the components, the historical data, cover page, summary page, and you see it just puts it all in a nice little package. This is a 35-page submittal. It took me longer to explain it than it did to run it. And that's how submittals work in Stonemont. From here, I can save it out to any location that I want to save it out to, or if I have email set up, I can actually email this out directly from the software. And that's it. So back to you, Henry.
Thank you, Michael.
Let me attempt to send it to you correctly. Here we go. I got you. There you go.
Thank you, Michael. Now we're the last part of the technical demo. So as you can see that Michael has made some changes to the mix 030-2. So we'll open up that mix again within ConcreteGo and look at the mix designs that is for that mix. Then you can see that the mix that Michael just changed for the air, it went from the 1.0 floor ounce that it was before to 1.2. So that is how quick the information get updated from StonemontQC into the ConcreteGo Cloud Dispatch. As you can see, the advantage of today's technology allows you in this fast-moving industry to have all information flowing between different applications in matters of seconds. Compared to some legacy technologies like flat files, interfaces, or using intermediate databases where it's hard to maintain, in some cases limited in what information can be exchanged, and the cost of not having that information in real time. So with the current technologies, open APIs allow you to have all these information and changes in matters of seconds. So at this point, I'm going to turn over to my colleague, Jerry, for the last few surveys that he has.
Excellent. Thank you, Henry.
Jerry, back to you.
Okay. So we're heading up against our 45-minute mark. So I just have a few more polls that I'd like to share with you. So we'll go ahead and put up the last of three, which I'll launch right now. And I'll give you a few seconds to read through it. And of course, take your time, answer, and then again, we'll be showing and sharing the results with a follow-up email with everybody. Okay, we'll close that one up. Now we got one more, which I'll launch right away. Okay, we'll be closing this one up as well. And we got a quick last one for you. Now, as we're finishing this up, maybe just to get some maybe closing remarks from both Michael and Henry. Now, Henry, I know you've been obviously in the industry for many years, and you've seen a lot of technology evolve. What is your takeaway in terms of integrating production like dispatch and batch with QC in terms of some of the major benefits that you see just off the top of your head in terms of when you're a ready-mix producer, how being able to leverage all this data, have everything communicate and connect as we've shown. What do you think is the value there for ready-mix producers?
When we look at the values, we understand that the cost of a cubic yard of a mix, the material cost has larger shares. So when we look at what is the benefits of having to have the optimized mix in terms of the cost benefits, that it's tremendous, because as you can use with the current technologies, if you can have the changes from the QC to the dispatch and down to the production facilities in matters of seconds, and that will save you a lot of money. And the other thing is to make an adjustment on the mix to prevent any QC problems, quality of the concrete. That is also it's hard to measure the value of that, because it prevents you having problems and at the job site and with the test result. So as long as you can make those kind of preventions at the early stage, the bigger benefits it will provide. And with the current technologies, it allows you to have those information to flows in matters of seconds. So that is the values that we provide to the industry. That is in this fast-moving, dynamic industry. So that is my opinions with 25 plus years in this industry.
Excellent. Thanks for that insight, Henry. I would ask the same question to Michael in terms of you've seen how technology has evolved. We mentioned some of the work and new features that you're putting in to build even a better product from the QC standpoint, mixture management. How do you see us being able to bring value to the industry in terms of being able to combine production and QC data to the benefit of our customers?
Right, it is an excellent question there, and I'd probably be pretty similar in Henry in that response. But I kind of like to lead with an example here. So as a QC manager in the past, if I had to make changes to a mix design, I literally was printing out a catalog and then Saturday morning going over to the batch plant and hand entering those updates into that batch pen. And now with the way the system is, you can make those global changes in our quality control software. I mean, we just looked at one, but fly ash changes, cementitious changes, aggregate changes on a global scale, push those out and then have those be updated from dispatch into batch. And something that would take an entire weekend, we're getting done in a very short time. Just as long as it takes to transfer that information over. To me, that is absolutely huge and a huge time saver. I mean, a real time saver. We all have families or we have things to do on the weekends, and we certainly don't want to be spending the entire weekend updating the batch plan. The second thing that I really see out of this, especially with integration, is the ability to be able to evaluate the production data out of that system. In the past, again, it was a matter of grabbing a stack of batch results, hand typing them into something like Excel, and then 4 or 5 hours later, you have some sort of evaluation. You can make those evaluations literally in minutes now with this type of integration. Again, a huge time saver to be able to do that. Now, as we're bringing these batch results in, we can evaluate them on the fly. We can have the software evaluate them. All things that were just blind spots in the industry not that long ago are really readily available, because that's always been a huge blind spot in quality control, is production information and the ability to effectively make changes. And now, our customers are able to do that. And to me, not only is that a huge time saver, but an increase in efficiency, but it allows us to be very flexible and be able to, move and be more proactive rather than reactive. And I think that's important.
I like that. I think you nailed it on the head with being proactive as opposed to reactive, and having some background in QC as well. I totally agree with the points you brought up. I think that this was great. Obviously, thanks Michael for joining us, and Henry as well. Thank you obviously for bringing us through this this whole journey of technology. Which again, I think the takeaway, of course, is that again, technology should be working for us to make our lives a little bit simpler, make our jobs a little bit better. And I think that with these little webinars that we're putting on a monthly basis, we'll be trying to hit topics that are of value and of interest to you. So thank you everybody for joining us this morning. We'll be sending out an email follow-up with the poll results and answer any questions you might have. And with that, I'd like to wish everyone a great Wednesday, and we'll be talking to each other soon. So again, guys, thank you very much for your time, and thank you for joining us for this webinar this morning.